What's up, guys? It's the Drone Mechanic here with another unboxing. This time we got the WLToys V666 Quadcopter. Alright, pay attention, kids. This is ages 14 and up. We just got this in from Amazon and really excited to see what this guy packs in terms of performance. This is a pretty large scale size quadcopter. Kind of looks a lot like the AR drone in my opinion. And it even comes with its own FPV system, right? I mean, not quite first person view, sort of a cheaper version of it, but has a monitor that comes with the controller. And you know, the controller is kind of a hobby grade style controller, so I'm actually pretty excited about this. On the box you can also see it has, you know, a camera mounted at the bottom with adjustments and a stabilization system inside of it, and even those nice external antennas so you get that clear, crisp signal, you know, from pretty far away. I mean, and look how cool it looks. It just looks kind of like a flying spaceship. So let's crack it open and see what it looks like. So inside we have our drone. As I mentioned before, it's fairly big for the drones I'm used to. You know, what I would still consider like the toy class of drones. This is fairly large. It's, you know, about 20-25 inches or so in diameter. It looks a lot like the Parrot. In fact, I don't think this body can even really come off of here. It does have sort of the internal structure here mounted inside the polystyrene. I don't think it can actually come off. Got two-toned propeller blades, so you can tell the red would be the front, and the black would be the rear, and some landing gear sort of built into it. We also have our charger. This is a balanced charger you would use to make sure that both cells, I guess, and all the cells in the battery would be balanced properly. Actually, this guy came with the camera already attached to it on the bottom, so it looks like the battery goes right inside the bottom there. Spinning the box around here, we got the manuals. And we also have the screen over here and the controller. So let's take a look at the controller. I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed by this controller. I think it's pretty nice. It looks very hobby grade. You know, has a standard throttle stick here. LCD display in the bottom with some controls. A lot of times I'll see these types of controllers and these buttons will actually be fake, so you can't even use them. But they actually put a nice control here. You can turn the lights on and off. You can take a photo. You can, I think this is like a headless mode. It says model. And then turn the camera on and off. You also have trim adjustments all over the place. And this has sort of a unique feature where, you know, this right now is sort of the roll and the pitch and all that. And this would be your trim, your throttle and turning left and right. But if you switch this, if you push this little lever down, now you've switched them. Now this becomes throttle and this becomes your, you know, your pitch and roll and all that. So I think that's kind of a nice feature. You know, it looks solid. There's a picture of what looks like a beetle flying on the actual screen. I don't know if you can see that. And it has a bunch of variety of modes. The button on the top here will allow you to choose sort of the power and speed ratio. Right now it's at 40%. You can see it flashing, and you can cycle through to 60, 80, or 100, and that gives you kind of full control over the full power of the drone. And this button on the right allows you to do tricks like flips and stuff like that. Just bear in mind that when you hit this, it will continually flip until you turn it off, and sometimes it's a little bit of a delay. So I'd make sure that when you do this, you're pretty high up in the air and you're not going to just smash it into the ground or a brick wall or something. Also came with nice screen here at the bottom. Let's take a look. Yeah, at the bottom here we got some extra parts. Looks like some propellers and a charging cable for the screen, as well as the antenna for the screen. Batteries down here. You have a 7.4 volt, 1200 milliamp battery, which should last you quite a long time. Take that out. And you also have the screen, which is kind of a nice addition. I mean, this isn't too expensive on Amazon, and for what you're getting, you get a decent camera on it, and you get a screen. Usually just buying this kind of screen setup alone is like 40 or 50 bucks. With the camera and all, it just snaps right into the control on the top, and even comes with its own little sunlight hood, so you can kind of see exactly what the camera is seeing. No brightness controls or anything like that on here, so you're kind of just stuck with whatever the default is for the monitor. But we'll go take a look outside and see how well it performs. In fact, I'm going to turn the camera on right now just to get a good look at it. I'm going to throw the battery in the drone and just power up the camera by itself. Should be enough juice in that battery to at least power the camera on. I'll turn on the monitor. The battery might be dead because it does say no signal. Anything? No? Oh, you know what? Let me get the antennas on there. Maybe that'll make a difference. It might not. Kind of looks like it's getting something, but I don't know for sure. Find out. It very well might not work. I didn't charge the battery or anything. It's very possible it's a dead battery. Yeah, it's a very real possibility. Yeah, I'd say that battery's probably dead. Oh, there you go. Just popped on. That's good. Battery's not dead, so you can see my shop here. Looks pretty bright, but of course we're inside. It does have space for an SD card at the back of the camera, so that would give you an idea. I think that's supposed to be a clock right there, but I'm not really sure. And it says HD, but I don't really believe that this is full HD. It very well could be, but perhaps not. But we'll take this outside. We'll take it for a flight. See how it performs. It's got a really nice, like, hobby grade style controller that comes with it. Got a lot of controls, like you can flip it around to do a right-handed if you want to make this the throttle. It's got a lot of nice features to it, actually. I mean, this is a nice controller. Trim controls and camera and video controls. I was really impressed. Love the little external antenna. As you saw from the unboxing video, the drone itself, kind of looks like a Parrot AR drone, very similar in style. So I'm gonna just plug it in here, fire it up, and take it for a test flight. Alright, there we go. Alright, right now it's at 40%. I don't know if you can see that blinking right there, but I'm going to punch it up to 60 just to give us, that's just the percentage of, power and throttle it'll give you. So I gotta say, it flies pretty stable. It's a little windy out here today, but it's a decent flyer. Start getting some video going. Whoop. And you know what, I forgot to turn on the monitor. Let's bring the monitor in on this, and you can see kind of where we're flying now. I don't know if you can tell from the picture, but it gives you a decent picture. So I'm definitely pretty impressed by this drone. You do need to trim it every time you fly, for sure.
You know, you can see it's kind of listing to the right a little bit. So it helps to trim it properly. Come back here, buddy. It's a little windy, so it's having a hard time kind of flying straight. But I love the camera aspect of it. It's kind of neat that it can give you a camera shot. I will say it's not the most stable flyer. It does pretty well, but you really got to pay attention to it. I guess if you were to trim it a bunch of times and get like everything set perfectly, it'll probably fly pretty well, but it seems like a lot of work, and it really shouldn't be that way. And it also seems like the trim kind of moves. It depends on where the wind is blowing and kind of how the propellers are flying. I would say this is not the best drone flyer, certainly not really good enough to do any kind of like aerial video that's going to be stable, because it's not really the most stable thing. It does fly pretty well. It's nice and big. That's what I like about it. But you can see it's kind of fighting against the wind right now. It does get fast, especially when you move it up to like 100%, which it is now in 100%. So it'll be a lot more aggressive when it comes to turning and flying. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm really trying hard. I'm struggling to keep it level. I'm really struggling to keep it level. Like, it seems like every time I move the stick, it's like a different place is now level. But it is rather fun to fly once you get over the anxiety of trying to keep it in the air, and there's hopefully no wind. And there's just no, like right now the stick is pitched just a little bit forward, and it's pretty straight. Otherwise it's gonna veer over to the left or right. It's hard to get it balanced just right, to be honest, and it will change as the battery starts to deplete. The way it favors one particular motor over another will change as it flies, so you really just have to keep an eye on it. I don't think the circuitry that's meant to keep everything balanced really works very well, so there's that like slight downside to it. But it's a pretty good flyer. It's neat. It looks like a giant UFO. It's got big bright lights on it. And as a platform, it can support like additional things if you want to take off the camera, maybe add something else to it. But it's just like, it's not the most stable thing on the planet. And God, the motors on this thing sound like, a herd of dying cats. It's bizarre. But it does have really great range. I'm going to try and throw it all the way up there and just see how high I can get to go. Yeah, I mean, it's got pretty amazing range, I would say. It goes pretty high up. That's partially owed to the 2.4 gigahertz system that's on it. It's got a nice like long throw controller. Nice long antenna, so it can go up pretty high. It's got some distance for sure. And it's got a nice, I think it's 7 volt, 800 milliamp battery. You could probably put something bigger in there if you wanted to. So it has a lot of time. Like it can certainly fly for a while. It's just not the most stable flyer, I would have to say. Definitely not for like a newbie, someone who's inexperienced in flying. See, now it's just decided to keel to the right all of a sudden. Like, this thing shifts so much, I can't even believe it. Right now I'm flying like up and to the left. I don't know if this has a headless mode. There may be a headless mode to it. I don't think I would trust it even if it did. Because it requires like constant adjustments just to keep it in the air. and stable. It really does. And that was the V666 by WLToys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care.